In this tutorial, we're going to complete the back rail for the shaker table project, and then we're going to put the whole frame together. Now before we do, I just want to go and check all the parameters that we've got loaded in. Just check against what you have to make sure that all of your parameters are the same as mine. Okay, so new sketch, and we're going to sketch off the inside face of this rear leg. Come in nice and close. I'm going to do this slightly differently. I'm just going to draw the shapes and then I'm going to add the dimensions straight afterwards. So the first thing I want is a large rectangle, so letter R for the keyboard shortcut, and I want a large rectangle which represents the end of the rail. So I'll just draw that in, then D for dimension. So that's my other keyboard shortcut. So this is material thickness. Then we want this parameter here, which is rail width, which should be 125 millimeters. Yep. So we've got that. The other one we want a little measurement in here. Now I haven't set this one up as a parameter yet, but we could, and that is look, it's 3 millimeters. That's what I'm working with. But basically what that is the distance that we're setting, all of our side rails and back rails in from the outside face of the leg. But we could set that one up as a parameter down the track. Okay, so we'll zoom in a bit closer, pan down a little bit. Yeah, so you can see that there. Next thing we want to do, I want to put in a couple more rectangles, and we're going to start putting the dominoes in. So R for rectangle. And again, we can set this one up with our parameters. So D for dimension, and this one here is the domino thickness. And why I've put this in as a parameter is dominoes do come in a variety of thicknesses and a variety of very set dimensions. So as we change, we might decide to use something other than an 8x40 domino, which is what this is being set up for, and we can change those parameters quite easily. The good thing with that is it means that, particularly because we put so many dominoes into this, we only have to change the parameter. We don't actually have to change each individual one. So we'll go domino thickness, and then we also need domino width. So we've got that in there. Now the other measurement we need is the setting that working off any surface, the setting or the depth from that surface that one edge of that domino will be, and we had a setting for that as well. So we'll just, and that was domino setting, because that also can be changed. Okay, so we've pretty much got one domino located. At the moment, it's not yet fully defined, it's not sure what to do with these lines here. So might as well fix that one up while we're at it. So we're going to put it in a dimension here. And this is, again, I could almost set this up as a parameter if we wanted, but it's basically the distance that's set in from the outside edge. And in this case, it's 24 millimeters. Okay, so we've got that in place. So might as well go again with the second one. So we're going to do 2 dominoes, so another one down here. So same again, D for dimension. And then we need this one, that's 24. And then finally we need actually I'll go from a different point. So that's domino setting. There we go. So we're nearly there. So the only other thing we now need is we just need our tangent arc on the end, because that's how the dominoes cut. Just make sure we're getting it in the right place. Might just get that a bit better on the screen. And of course, you know, you can go ahead. You're probably getting quite used to this. Okay, so we've basically now got everything on there, so we can now finish that sketch and we can start to do our extrudes. So the first thing I'll extrude out will be the rail. So we'll start here. Now in this case, I'll just pan down a little bit. In this case, what we'll do is we will select everything. So I just need to have my shift. And we're going to extrude. And we're going to go 150, which is half the length, because remember we're going to do the mirror. Now our operation is not going to be joined. We want a new body at this stage. And then we go OK. All right, so we've got that. So what we'll do now is we'll start to do our domino geometry. So it'll just make it a bit easier if we just hide this leg. We'll hide the rail. And then we'll orbit around. That's better. And we'll turn that sketch back on as well. Okay, so we want to now extrude again. So we're going to just cut our dominoes in. So and we're going to go minus 22. Sorry, other way. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit funny because it sees that we want to cut, so actually to add becomes a minus. So minus, sorry, was it minus 22? No, minus 28, because they're 8x40s. So, sorry, I'll just say 28 and that'll work. There we go. So we've cut that out. Okay, so we've got that. So now, again, I'm just going to go to my home position. I'm going to hide that, but I'm now going to unhide the leg. And then we've just got to cut the domino out of that one. So in this case, so again, we'll just hit our shift key. So we're adding to our selection. And you can see which way it's saying this is going to be the positive way. So now we've got that the negative way. So that's minus 12. And the reason why we're not going so far into this leg is we don't want to cut into some of this other joinery that's in there. So we're going minus 12, so we've cut that. So we've got that there. Okay, so we can turn that sketch off now because we don't need to see that. We can go to our body here, and we're going to now mirror it. So we're going to mirror bodies. So we select that. Then we want our mirror plane. So we're just going to mirror it around the back there. And what we want, in terms of our operation, we want to join it. So we don't want a new body. We actually just want to join it. There we go. And we go, OK. So now we've got that new body there, or single body. So there it is. So now we're going to create a component from it. And it's arrived down here. So we might as well just rename it. And we'll call it rear rail. There we go. Okay, so we can pretty much finish this off now. So what we want to do now is we'll unhide that side rail, but we now want to just mirror that side rail. I'm just going to pan it back up into the middle of the screen. Yeah, so we might as well just finish off our frame. Okay, so we want to create a mirror, and we're going to mirror, in this case, we're going to mirror components. So we might as well select them. So we want to mirror that one, and that one. Then we want our mirror plane, and this goes back to the beauty and the ease of setting it up off the center, off the origin here. So that's our mirror plane, and OK. There we go. So we've basically now got our frame done. If you can remember right back to the beginning of our first tutorial, we actually laid out the tabletop in a sketch. So we're just going to turn that sketch on. So right now we might as well complete our tabletop. Okay, so we're going to extrude, and we need to obviously add to extrusion, so we'll hold our shift key. Okay, we've got that. Now we're going to do something a little bit different here. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to start, now it's got here our profile plane, but no, we want to start on an object, and we might as well just make it the top of this. The distance we want to go is material thickness, and we want the operation that we want is we want a new component. So we go OK. If I just zoom back out a bit, you can see there we've now got our tabletop very, very quickly created for us. Now, our tabletop is going to have a chamfer on the bottom of it. It might work best if we sort of come in from below, have a little bit of a bottom view like this, but we'll hide everything else here because it's just getting in our way now. While we're there, we might as well we'll rename this component. So we'll just get that better on the screen there. And what we want, we're going to modify it with a chamfer. So what the kind of chamfer that we want, it should default to equal distance, but what we want is a 2 distance chamfer. And we'll select this entire face here. And this first distance, so that's going this way, we're going to put in 40 millimeters. Now you can see up here, it's going 40, 40. We want the second distance to be 9. So it's not liking that just yet. There we go. And if we go OK, so the first face, it should be 40. The second should be 9. We go OK. Because what we want is we want to make sure that we keep 10 millimeters here. Now we can double check that by using the inspect tool, which also has a keyboard shortcut of the letter I, and I can just put it on those 2 points and measure that. So I've got 10 millimeters, which is what I want. Okay, so now we've got our tabletop. So we'll go back to our home position, and then we'll unhide everything. Now it's starting to get a little bit messy down the side here. So one thing that we can do is we can actually go up to Create, New Component, and we're going to give it a name. There's a few different kinds here. There's a standard and a sheet metal. We're obviously not working in sheet metal at the moment, but we're going to call it, it's going to be a standard component, and we're going to call it table frame. And you'll see it down here. Now what we can do is we can actually now select, so if I select leg, I'm going to keep tabletop separate, hit my shift key, and then select the bottom one, and then I can move them all into table frame. Okay, so it just makes it a bit easier, because what's going to happen in a little bit is we're going to be doing the drawer, and that's going to add a whole lot more components to the project. In the next tutorial, we'll start modeling the drawer.